Hey guys, it's River Dave with ColumbusTunes.com and RiverDavesPlace.com. I'm standing here with Chris, who was a Havasu native at one time, but now you live in Florida, is that right?
Yes, sir. A little back and forth, but yeah, I was born and raised in Havasu in my early 20s, and now I'm out in Florida.
So we're standing here in the Morgan Motorsports booth, and Morgan Motorsports is the dealer for a company called Wetbox.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk a little bit about that. We can see right behind us these very large 8-inch Rockford Fosgates in the doors, which is actually pretty cool because that's a shallow depth 8, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And you guys manufacture the enclosures for the speakers, right?
Yep, yeah, so we've pioneered a new manufacturing method, new materials and means of making the parts that allow us to get a lot more airspace, especially on subs. And then the material themselves, it's much more rigid than ABS, so a lot more expensive. They're all handmade in the US, but 9 times per pound more expensive, so you get just a different output, and especially like you said, using the 8-inch makes a big difference. And we offer those with kicker, Fosgate, DS18. The key is, the secret sauce is the enclosure, where you hear something different than you've heard before.
Yeah, so we just actually fired this up and tuned it up. He's actually got 2 L712s underneath the seats of this, and as a side-by-side owner that's into big audio, as most of you guys know, the idea of having an L7 under a seat is pretty hard to do. Usually they got to do a comp or something.
Or cut the whole floor out.
Yeah. Something a little smaller.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. We're not going to be able to get a picture of the actual L7s under there, but we can come over here and show you the doors, and then I'm excited to talk a little bit about boating with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Michael, check this out right here. This is what they're making right here. This is what allows them to put an 8 in this door. And while we're filming that, why don't you tell them some of the models that you guys handle for cars?
Sure. We started with the Honda Talon. That cross country, that's been one of our really big ones. A Honda Talon, for example, can have up to 21 speakers in a 4-seater, but yet still have a stealth look. We don't put anything in the beds of vehicles. We have a 2-seat KRX, for example. We beat $100,000 builds, full ice cream truck looking vehicles in a 2-seater that's more or less kind of stealth. We achieved that with creating these new structures, of course, for the subs. And in side-by-sides, the key is surface area to the speaker. So instead of a 10 that's starving for airspace, we'll go with the 12, and if we can, an L7T, which is a 12, plus an extra 20% surface area. So you're getting almost a 14-inch sub in a side-by-side, which is kind of unheard of. So that gives us what you need to offset this whole open air thing. In a car, you can get pretty much anything to get down. Side-by-side's a whole different challenge.
Yeah. So we're gonna come back here, and they call this the Multidirectional Pod, and this is kind of what drove me over here, was looking at this. This is not only for side-by-side guys, this is actually for boats. And what's really cool about it is they run the bar through the enclosure, and by running 6x9s, you're actually able to get like an 8-inch woofer area, I guess you would say, and a much smaller enclosure. Now you say, why is that important? Well, generally this is upside down in this application for a side-by-side, but in a roll bar boat, or excuse me, a wakeboard boat, we call them antler boats.
Right.
Or center console, or some method where you're gonna be hanging a speaker, these big giant pods, people are always whacking their heads on them.
You got it.
So trying to shrink that envelope is the most important thing. So you're allowed to have, in this particular one, 2 6x9s forward and back, and a third firing down.
Correct.
That's why they call it multi-directional. And you were saying this thing's 130 dB at 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah, so we've got them on video. You can go on YouTube and see them, 130 dB, which is like a jet taking off from an aircraft carrier with its afterburners on. So that's crazy loud. Full roof systems that can be $10,000, $20,000. They only typically hit about 110, so literally 6 times louder out of just these pods. And like you said, a typical 8-inch, you've got an 8, you've got a grill, you've got the mounting bracket, you're talking 11 inches of hang versus 5 1/4. So this can be added to any existing system where you can walk under your canopy, not bang your head on it, and you're getting 6 drivers. So you're throwing that direction and that direction, which again, combined is over 3/4 of a mile. We have those same videos where you're hearing it, you can sing along with it, you can't even see the vehicle or boat that it's on, it's that far away.
So the people in Havasu will go nuts over that.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of our universal thing, and it's still really pre-launched. It was originally made for boats. COVID hit, so we switched gears and did more of the side-by-side. The boat market at large really hasn't seen or heard these yet, and it's something you got to experience to understand. And when we develop them, we're all about performance. Every brand has its own strength. We bought 90 pair of 6x9s at the time, most of them at retail, comparing all the different brands. We gave everybody a fair shake. And at the time, Polk was really up there. Powerbase did really well. The Kicker came out. I can tell you they're the best 6x9 on the planet. I mean, that is a beautifully balanced horn speaker which that's the challenge, making that balanced tone, and they're top of the line.
But also solving the solution of not having this giant thing hanging off your cage where you're whacking your head on it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I thought was really cool, and I'll let him go ahead and film that. But while he's filming that, why don't you tell him how to get a hold of you?
So we're wetbox.net. Still got an old Arizona phone number, even though we're in Florida. You can call me directly. Something that we do with all of our systems is we include the service of tuning the system. So it doesn't matter if you're buying a $2,000 system or a $15,000 system, we guide you through the tuning, which is really important. But it's, you know, I won't say it's plug and play because we use all retail grade product, which that is the best of the best. But we have videos for everything on installation. Probably 95% of our customers install themselves. So it's not that it's complicated, but we really believe in having retail grade proper interconnects. So you got the best power wire, the best ground wire, and all of that goes together. It's kind of like a baking a cake. When directionality comes into play, when rigidity of enclosure comes into play, you know, that makes the difference. If you look, we've got, I think, 400 or 500 reviews now, customers coming from every brand you can imagine, and they state specifically, this is what I had before, when all those things are put together and physics is on your side, we get concert sound. There's a lot of great sounding stereos, but we get concert from what we make. So
very cool.
All kind of together.
So what is your phone number?
Area code 480-213-5842.
And as he mentioned, he's in Florida, but your Havasu dealer is Morgan Motorsports.
Absolutely, yeah. I grew up with these guys. Of course, he does this amazing work. So we're very happy to be teamed up with him, and hopefully you'll see us together in a lot of shows in the future. And yeah, it's been a great relationship.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Chris.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So the thing to understand about this is kind of atypically mounted. We wanted separation so you could really see his cage work. But typically, like on this vehicle, these mount in this position. They're right here with a bar coming this way. So these are actually upside down right now. When they're right side up, that's what facilitates that downfire speaker. So when you walk from the back of a 40-foot boat, it can be a yacht. No matter where you walk, as you transition through the vehicle, you have the back fire, the down fire, and then the front fire, with the down fire being adjusted separately because they're so loud, you don't need them at full tilt. But as you walk through a boat, no matter how big a boat system is, it can be a $20,000 system, most everything's mounted low. So that's called off-axis hearing. So it doesn't matter how good a system is, if it's buried into your knees, you just don't have that projection you're looking for. So this is a way for you to take your existing awesome system, add something, and get that upper staging, so now it all works together as a complete system.